Joining me now from San Rafael, California, constitutional and election law attorney, Mark Meuser. Mark, never a single word from your governor, never a single word from Gavin Newsom about constitutional rights, be they the federal constitution or your state constitution. Never a word about protecting liberty. What right, in your mind, what right does the governor of California have to tell you that you cannot assemble with people around your neighborhood and around your state? What right does he have?
He does not have a right. In fact, California courts have said that you have a constitutional right to your liberty. And they have said that these public health officials do not have the right to quarantine you unless you actually have a disease or have been around somebody that has a disease. And we saw back in the 1900s when the bubonic plague hit the city of San Francisco, the city of San Francisco could not make everybody shelter in place because 9 people had died of the bubonic plague. We have court precedents that says your constitutional rights of liberty are supreme and that the government must have probable cause that you, in fact, do have the disease before they deprive you of your rights of liberty.
Key phrase there, right? Probable cause, which is derived from our Bill of Rights, which is, in particular, we're talking about the Fifth Amendment, right? Due process.
Exactly.
Where is the due process? There has been zero due process here. And you are representing 4 Californians. You're representing all constitutionally minded Californians, I should say. But you are representing 4 Californians who have said enough of this, and they are pushing back. And they, of course, are citing the obvious violations by the governor and his crew of the First Amendment. The freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom to assemble. The 14th Amendment, this is something I've been talking about on this program ad nauseum. Equal protection. You also throw in their due process of the 14th Amendment, but also the violations of the California Constitution, which in many ways is a mirror of the federal Constitution. It's interesting because the religion, for example, restricting religion over Easter weekend. This reminds me a lot, Mark, of the efforts in California and other blue states to restrict the sale of ammunition to guns. If they can't go directly after a constitutional right, they're going to go indirectly after a constitutional right.
Yeah, I'm glad to stand up with the Center for American Liberties. On Monday, we filed a complaint against Gavin Newsom listing 11 causes of action. You did a thorough job of going through there. The one correction I will like to make is that the California courts have actually said that our constitutional rights under California Constitution are actually stronger than your constitutional rights under the United States Constitution. And that's why we actually brought causes under both the California Constitution and the federal Constitution. And it was great to have 4 individuals stand up and be named. But what we're doing is we actually filed a temporary restraining order against the state of California in these regards. And so while these 4 individuals stand up for the Constitution, when the judge gets and reaches an order, it's going to actually affect all Californians.
What's the timeline? First of all, is this federal level? Is this state court? And then what is the timeline on a decision in your estimate?
Yes, this is federal court. We filed the complaint on Monday. On Tuesday, we filed what's called a temporary restraining order, basically saying, Judge, this is so unconstitutional. You have to rule right now that it's unconstitutional. We'll come back and do discovery and pursue the case later on. But you immediately need to protect the constitutional rights of people. And we have asked the court to make a temporary restraining order by the end of this week. So we are hoping any day now we're going to hear a response.
Has it been assigned a judge yet, Mark?
Yes, we do have a judge, a federal judge that's out in Riverside County.
And what do we know about this? I'm sorry to do this, but let's face it, there are Obama judges out there and there are Trump judges. What do we know about this lawyer dressed in a black robe?
Unfortunately, he was appointed by Obama, and him and Trump have had some words. So we got an Obama anti-Trump judge.
Not looking good, but you also have this thing called an appeal too, right? And the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, if it ever would get there, is leaning a little bit more in the constitutional direction. But let's talk about the plaintiffs. I know you can't reveal too much about the parties you represent, but at least 3 of the 4 are pastors, are they not?
Yes, 3 of the 4 are pastors who actually want to have services. One of them actually had a service and got fined $1,000 for doing so on Palm Sunday. So we have people who are willing to stand up and say, I have a free exercise of religion. I have First Amendment rights. I have rights to peaceably assemble, and they are standing up, making their voice heard.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.